So in a good drama, there should be little bit of suspense also. So actually, it is supposed to be one of the aspects of a good drama. So in Savitri, there is also this element of suspense. Of course, we all know the story, that's a different matter. But otherwise, that aspect is also brought out beautifully in Savitri, which we shall see as we proceed. Page 418, we continue. Again, we have the same expression that even as Narada takes the name of the Lord, his bhajan, his kirtan, his smaran, his taking of the Lord's name, it has an effect on everything that is around. It is an amazing truth that Sri Aurobindo is revealing to us, and this truth cannot be really, there is no, it's of priceless value. That's what Sri Aurobindo is revealing to us. Very often we don't understand its power, the power of the name, because that is Narada's power. And several places in Savitri he gives hints of it. Here he has made it very elaborate that when we talk about the Lord, one of the elements again of bhakti is to talk about the Lord, to think about the Lord. In fact, Sri Krishna goes to this extent. I'm sure my friend Anmol will remember the exact Sanskrit words, but I'll tell the English translation. That where does Krishna reside? He says, not in the heart of the yogin. Yoginam Hirdaya. No, not in that. Not in the tapasya of tapasvis. Where does he reside? He resides wherever people are taking his name. Wherever they are talking about him, there he is present. So he is present in that. So when Narada, by the very fact that he is taking the Lord's name, he is expressing that joy. He is, even in pain, he is able to see the hand of love. His love for the Lord is flowing, overflowing, bringing out of his vessel, and all that is around. This is a yagna of yagnas, which purifies everything that is around. Just the name of the Lord. At one place, Mother says, if you are in difficulty, distress, just call me by my name, by the mantra if it is there, and immediately the response comes. Of course, it's not a mechanical switch, but it should be done with love. And if one is doing it day and night as often as one can, then one develops that capacity. So Narada is like that, and therefore, even as he sang and rapture stole through earth trying, that moment Narada is impressed the bliss of the divine all around, and caught the heavens, came with a call of hooves, as of her swift heart hastening, Savitri, a radiant red glimmered across the floor. So even the heavens are filled with Narada's joy. The gods have assembled to hear him take the name of the Lord. What a beauty. Even on earth, it is said that when a person takes the Lord's name, then even the heavenly gods come to see who is this in this field of ignorance and darkness and death. Who is calling the name of the immortal? So as he sings the name and earth and heavens are filled with the joy, suddenly Savitri comes hastening. And how Sri Aurobindo describes how she is hastening, like her heart. Why? Because she has found love and she has found joy. So finding love and joy makes the heart beat faster. And Savitri is hastening like that. A happy wonder in her fathomless gaze. Her eyes have suddenly, looking beyond time, something mysterious, something wonderful has happened to her. And Narada and everybody is noticing that. Her eyes rich with a shining mist of joy. Again, a teardrop of joy that is overfilled to the brim and therefore spilling out. There are two kinds of tears, we know. Tears of sorrow. When sorrow is too much in the heart, Nature has made a corrective to let it flow out through the ears, which is very fine because only human beings cry. Because of our sensitivity, we are capable of experiencing that extreme pain. And even extreme joy, when we cannot contain it, it flows down as a little bit of tearfulness, like the love of the Lord. So when Savitri is coming, there is a mist of joy. How beautifully it describes. She's not crying. She is very strong and wide, but there is a mist of joy in her eyes even as she comes. As one who comes from a heavenly embassy, discharging the proud mission of her heart, one carrying the sanction of the gods to her love and its luminous eternity, she stood before a mighty Father's throne and, eager for beauty on discovered earth, transformed and new in her heart's miracle light, saw like a rose of marvel, worshipping the fire-tinged sweetness of the Son of Heaven. So as she comes, she is full of that joy. She is looking forward to that beauty which is going to come in her life, the joy that is going to come in her life. And she stands before Ashupati, her mighty Father's throne. Every line is so beautiful that she has discharged a mission. For her, finding a mate was not just a work where she is thinking, I'll get security, I'll get money, I'll get a nice, maybe if he's an NRI, I too can go to America. None of these things. Finding a mate was for her a heavenly mission. And that is how her Father has sent her. We have read that earlier. He says, you must find your other self so that both of you can confront the great question time. So she has gone on a heavenly mission. It is not just for the sake of, she's not incomplete who wants to complete herself. She's in herself complete and full and whole. And yet, she has come for a work to do, and there must be a partner with whom she must do that work. It's a task of the heavens. And beings are scattered far and wide. And she has gone to find. And she has found. So she is very happy about it. She has fulfilled a heavenly task. Now the Father sees, he flung on her his vast, immortal look. He is, after all, a yogi and a rishi. So he is not just seeing her with the ordinary eyes, but his vast, immortal look. His inner gaze surrounded her with its light, and reining back knowledge from his immortal lips, he cried to her. He has seen that she has found. That much he knows. He surrounds her by the light, and he has known in that light he sees his atmosphere, our atmosphere. And in that atmosphere he can read the signs and hints of love. So he knows. But he is also now like a father. He can't, there is a game of life, the Leela. He cannot say, oh, I know. He is not going to boast. I know whom you have seen and met. Satyavan, no, in the woods, no. So he reins it back and asks her. He cried to her, who is this that comes, the bride, the flame born, and round her illumined head, pouring their lights her hymeneal palms? So he says, I had sent my daughter out, but who is this who comes? Who is this? The bride, the flame child, the Yagisini, she's born out of the Yagna, pouring their lights, move flashing about her, from what green glimmer of glades, retreating into dewy silences, or half-seen verge of waters moon betrayed, bringest thou this glory of enchanted eyes? That your eyes are not the same with which I had sent you. They seem to be enchanted with a dream, as if they have wandered into some dream land, full of beauty and joy and wonder. So he is teasing his daughter. Earth has gold-hued expanses, shadowy hills that cowl their dreaming phantom heads in night, and guarded in a cloistral joy of woods, screened banks sink down into felicity. So he's describing all the various spaces that, I know that there are very beautiful places in earth. See, India is such a beautiful place. All these places describing we find in India. I wonder why people go abroad to find a beauty. Go to Himalayas, you have those kind of slopes, the mighty rivers, the vast desert expanses, the slopes, the low-lying plateaus, everything is there. So he is describing earth as gold-hued expanses. There are places where you simply feel as if the golden warmth of the earth has come up, maybe as a harvest. Shadowy hills that cowl their dreaming phantom heads in night. So when we look at these hills in the moonlight, it looks like they are like little phantoms. And guarded in a cloistral joy of woods, thick woods, screen banks sink down into felicity. There are river banks on the forest verge, seized by the curved, incessant, yearning hands and rippled passion of the upgazing stream. Amid cool-lipped murmurs of its pure embrace, they lose their souls on beds of trembling reeds. How beautiful these lines are. And all these are mysterious presences in which some spirit's immortal bliss is felt, and they betray the earth-born heart to joy. So why do we feel joy in these places? In all these places, there is the occult presences. That's how it is described. Yakshas, especially water bodies. Many of these yakshas, they live near these water bodies. And of course, we know the famous story of Yudhishthir. Some of them are very nice, benevolent beings. Some are nasty. Some are mischievous. Water nymphs. They are there around these bodies where there are woods and water streams. And some of them can fill us with a song of gladness and beauty. If we just go near and sit for a while, we feel very good. We don't know why it is so. But they, for a moment, fill the earth heart with wonder. That's why in olden time there was a very nice, simple remedy. So if one was not well, whether it was tuberculosis or depression, the treatment was go to a nice hill station. Now why did the hill station help? Apart from whatever pure climate and all, it contains those presences. And if one came in contact with some of these beings for a while, one got well. Now Mother has created another space for this. I know of some people who, when they were unwell, they were sent to work in one of the gardens. I know one person who worked with Rishabh Chandji, and he got well. And he was suffering from what is called as tuberculosis. And then very often she would send to lake area. It has a water body, it is full of flowers, and one goes there for a while and one comes back refreshed and cool. The mind becomes peaceful and quiet. So that's why when people were a little bit off balance, instead of rushing to a psychiatrist, they were sent to the lake, and it helped, and still it helps. So this is such a simple treatment, will reduce the burden. But the problem is that now everywhere there are people and Coca-Cola cans and chips. All these water nymphs and yakshas must have ran away. What, these human beings come and spoil everything. All kinds of music. So they also have, they need a bit quietude. They don't like that kind of sound. But still, Ashupati, because he knows these truths, so he tells Savitri, you are beaming with a joy. I suspect, have you been to one of these places where these inhabiting spirits have for a moment touched you and made you feel with joy? So look at these last 3 lines. And all these are mysterious presences in which some spirit's immortal bliss is felt, and they betray the earth-born heart to joy. So some of these trees are inhabited with nice benevolent beings, just like ghosts and some of these dark beings, they inhabit haunted places, houses which have been pulled down, or trees which are absolutely crooked, bereft of leaves, barren places. They are haunt places of these other kind of beings. And poor fellows, they are also suffering. We should never be afraid of them. Poor fellows are suffering, They are running away from human beings out of fear into these places. And equally, there are beautiful places where there are benevolent beings. And they love to come on earth and stay a while. Like Mother has spoken about the service tree. that there are gods who come and rest there. There are souls who are looking for parents and looking for a while just to breathe this atmosphere near the Samadhi. So these trees, old trees and water bodies, they are excellent places for these beings. And if the place is beautiful, they are benevolent beings. There hast thou paused, and marveling born eyes unknown, or heard a voice that forced thy life to strain its rapture through thy listening soul. So he says, I suspect that you have gone and stopped at one of these places, and you are bringing that joy. Or, if my thought could trust this shimmering gaze, it would say, thou hast not drunk from an earthly cup, but stepping through azure curtains of the noon, thou wast surrounded on a magic verge in brighter countries than man's eyes can bear. He said, or maybe you, on the way, you suddenly slipped into a trance, and for a moment the azure sky parted a while, and you had a visitation from the heavenly gods. I have a feeling, I suspect that you have heard some god, maybe some god has neared you, and you have had a converse with some god. For a moment the heavens have parted, the skies have parted, and you have conversed. In brighter countries than man's eyes can bear, assailed by trooping voices of delight, and seized mid a sunlit glamour of the boughs, in fairy woods, led down the gleaming slopes of Gandhamadan where the Apsaras roam. So we hear in Indian myths about the Gandhamadan where the heavenly nymphs, the Apsaras move and the Gandharvas sing. So maybe you have entered into these mid-worlds where there is the Gandhamadan mountain and the forest, where all the nymphs who are singing beautiful songs and the Gandharvas are busy playing heavenly harps. You have gone there and probably something of that music has fallen into your ears. What he is missing out is the most crucial, something much more powerful. She has drunk from the cup of love. But for the moment, he is not speaking that. Thy limbs have shared the sports which none has seen. You have seen the heavenly nymphs, Apsaras bathing in the pools. Satyavan speaks of that. I have glimpsed the Apsaras bathing in the streams. So that has, Apsaras are daughters of light. They are not bad people. It's a very wrong concept. Aurobindo speaks of them. They are daughters of light. They don't come to make the rishis fall. It's a Puranic legends, horrible legends. They come in a heart that is harsh with asceticism. They come to fill love and joy. And it's necessary because they come always to tapasvis who are very harsh. Because without that touch, you cannot go to Vishnu's seat. It's not possible because there are tapasvis who have crushed their heart and they become more and more harsh. And one wonders what are they doing in an ashram because there doesn't seem to be any love in their heart, any joy in their heart. Yes, they are doing tapasya, but they are doing it by crushing it. So the Apsaras visit, not everybody, only some. And they visit and for a moment's touch, they take away that ascetic side. And they once again inspire that touch. And then they go away. Apsaras never stay. It's only rare stories like Pururavas where they stay but under very difficult conditions. With Pururavas, he says, if once you see me unveiled, I will go away. And Aurobindo has written such a wonderful poem, Urvashi, on this theme. And another story where the Apsara is stayed for a while is Menaka with Vishwamitra. And the moment they have a child and she has all these responsibilities, she says, I have not come for all this. I have done my job. Vishwamitra, you were straining yourself with ambition, lot of vanity, and all these things were filling your heart. You wanted to become a Brahma Rishi in competition with Vasishtha. That's not the path. So I have come to give you a little dose of love. Now you try. So Vishwamitra once again goes into tapasya, but touched by the heart of an Apsara. So this is how Aurobindo speaks of always wherever he has spoken in a positive note, even in his letters of Gandhamadan where the Apsaras roam, thy limbs have shared the sports which none has seen, and in God haunts thy human footsteps strayed. We hear about haunts of these dark beings, Bhoot ka haunt, Pishach ka haunt. Why do we think about such things? There are God haunts where gods are there. In many of these Auroville grooves, there are god haunts, and one can feel drawn, attracted. So there are god haunts. They have been created for gods. So they should not be touched, and that is one of the problem about afforestation. People don't realize that when they cut trees and deforest places, it is not just about the ecological balance. Some of these places are sacred places. They are dwelling places of great beings. And when we cut them, we also lose that presence. Many plants and trees and river bodies which we pollute are places where these gods are there. And they are very nice beings, very good beings. Whoever goes there, sits for a while, they feel with joy. They are like healers. Only thing is they don't charge money. And we don't know what has happened, which is good. But now because we have cut away many of these places, poor fellows have gone away. Okay, human beings don't value us anymore. So as a result, we have to rush to doctors' clinics, which are haunts of the devils. Yamdutas are waiting there, every room outside. So when the patient comes out, Yamdut says, "Sir, will you come with me?" Like, you go to a tourist place and how the Yamduts will come. Sir, hotel, sir. Here, sir, taxi, sir. And if you get into their groove, gone. You have gone for a little bit of retreat into silence. But they are so, the Yamdutas are waiting in the corridors of the gods. When a patient comes, they fill their head with fear. You know what you are suffering from? 3rd degree heart attack. 3 degree heart blockage. Done, gone. So we don't even realize that the Yamdutas are clasping. Come with us. Come, we'll take you to death. You'll be free from all miseries and problem. Life is so boring, burdensome. And some of them we carry home, these Yamdutas. And all the time they are telling us, time has come. So either we die of fear or the heart attack, choice is ours. But the God said, do a different thing. God haunts. So instead, if we could go for a while into these lovely places, we'll come back freed of all this. So here there are God haunts. Mother has created, I'm sure, a number of God haunts. Many of these gardens, which many people wonder, why she took these gardens far away. I suspect she took it because she was not only giving shelter to human beings, but also to the gods for their play and to many such beings. So she has kept places for each one. There are also places which she has kept for the dark beings. And one can feel that ominous thing, but it's under her guidance and protection. So she has kept such wonderful places for us. So she says, maybe you have come from there. And in God haunts thy human footsteps strayed. Thy mortal bosom quivered with God's speech. And thy soul answered to a word unknown. Maybe the gods inspired your tongue for a while. And you feel that joy. That's why all speech, whether written or spoken, when it is inspired by the gods, it carries with it a force of joy. It's not just about truth, it's a force of love and joy. It climbs on that, it carries because it's inspired by the touch of the gods. What feet of gods, what ravishing flutes of heaven have thrilled high melodies round, from near and far approaching through the soft and travelling air, which still surprise thou hearest. Or maybe you have heard some of these flutes or some of these melodies from the gods, which still around you, like when we have heard something beautiful, for a while that atmosphere still remains. Sunilda's music or mother's music, and then for a while it stays around us like a positive thing. They have fed thy silence on some red, strange ecstasied fruit, and thou hast trod the dim moon peaks of bliss. So how these musics, this kind of music from the gods, and if on earth we can create it, then it can fill our heart and take it upward into the joy. No wonder when Pandit Jasraj, when he went to one of the concerts and there was a Krishna puja going on, very elaborate rituals and a lot of people going. It was quite a crowd and he was not feeling very happy to, through that crowd. And so suddenly Krishna appeared before his vision. And Krishna told him, this kind of worship is for others. For you, music and song is my worship. So then, it's so beautiful that his voice, and when he sings the Krishna songs, and voice quite a few, he's not just one, it has the capacity to uplift us to a joy. Because this is the power of that music. Reveal, O winged with light, whence hast thou flown? Whence thou hast flown, hastening bright-hued through the green tangled earth, thy body rhythmical with the spring bird's call. He says, tell me, you seem to be coming on light. Where have you flown? Your hands and face are having a different hue. They are looking as if rose-colored. Look at Shringar Ras. We were talking about it. Aurobindo, there are some of Aurobindo's poems in Sanskrit on Shringar Ras, which I believe have not been published. Some of his writings in Sanskrit, which are amazing. But, naturally, Shringar Ras for ascetic yogis, oh, no. We should only talk about, tight tapasya. But look at this, how the Lord is describing. Whoever thought that he is only an ascetic, here is Krishna speaking. Thy body rhythmical with the spring bird's call. Aurobindo's favorite bird was quail. And he has immortalized the quail in some of his poems. Even there is a poem on quail. And here he talks about the spring bird's call. The empty roses of thy hands are filled only with their own beauty and the thrill of a remembered clasp, and in thee glows a heavenly jar, thy firm, deep honeyed heart, new brimming with a sweet and nectarous wine. He is slowly preparing. He says, not only that, I feel you have not just heard, not just seen, you have clasped as if the very body of a god. And that embrace, its thrill, its joy is still there in your hands. Its warmth and sweetness is still felt within you. Savitri, I can see this. Look how much of delight and sweetness Aurobindo is filled with. We cannot imagine. And we turn him into a strict disciplinarian. What joy, what sweetness, what warmth, how much he understands humanity and uplifts it to what levels. Thou hast not spoken with the kings of pain. I'm sure you have gone all around, but you have conversed with the gods and met them, not pain. Life's perilous music rings yet to thy ear, far melodied, rapid and grand a centaured song. So yes, touch of pain will be there on mortal life. But that music is still very far. It is ringing very far. Like the centaur song, which is a song of battle. Or soft as water plashing mid the hills. Or mighty as a great chant of many winds. Moon bright, thou livest in thy inner bliss. Thou comest like a silver deer through grooves of coral flowers and buds and glowing dreams, or fleest like a wind goddess through leaves, like a deer moving amidst glowing flowers, as if in a dream one would spot a deer. So you come like that. Or you are roaming